Hi, everybody. I wanted to talk a little bit about the relationships and even looking at my glasses, relationships from my book, Dance with Your Partner, Not Their Confusion. And the book is based on communication, separation of relationships, why they separate. Because a lot of times people believe that relationships just don't work as if they work by themselves and the people don't have to put in the work. Well, we do have to put in the work, and most of the work comes through our maturity when we mature. If we mature, by the way, because I've found that there are men and women that don't, mature. This discussion or topic, when I bring it, is never about one individual, such as in women bashing men or men bashing women. I like to get a neutral perspective because we have children that have been born that don't understand why their parents are not together. And the parents' answer to them is so intellectual, which is still so ignorant. It is because me and your mother or me and your father didn't get along. What kind of answer is that for a child? And you hope for them to have a productive life, right? Your mother and I didn't get along. Well, what is it that caused your mother and I, or the father and the mother, not to get along? And that is for the individual to find out, because when you give a loose answer to a child that you want to see grow up and become a productive citizen in life, what happens is that the production of their life is it's disenfranchised. It is um separated, it is broken, because there is a answer that does not make sense. I talk with a lot of people, and I have a young woman that works with me in the spiritual context, also in the coaching business. And so we talk about a lot of intricate information that could help people better their lives. A lot of people don't want to better their life. Let's just talk about that. They don't want to communicate or even learn how to communicate properly. Some people don't even want to listen to what the other person has to say. Even in a work relationship, you have the same situations going on because ego is so much more prominent than someone just realizing that you don't have to live in a less confident type of beingness, meaning that you can be confident and not know everything. Confidence is being able to say, I don't know how to do that, but I'm willing to learn. In most cases, what you have is men and women that are faking. They're faking what they can do in life because someone else faked. And all of society has shown us to be fake. So when does the real you and me stand up? The authentic person? When do we just open up and say, well, I don't know how to be that. Um, as a mother, I couldn't make it with someone because I just didn't have the understanding on doing it. And, maybe I'm going to work on trying to learn how to master that area of my life, meaning relationships, because it bothers me. Until something bothers a person, they will not man up or woman up to figure out why they're in that challenge. And that's why we do have the situations of children that are growing up with no answers of why they have a mother at home or a father separately raising them. Also, I get into the areas of, you know, um, helping our people to understand that um, energy is a big part of it. And energy has a lot to do with the reasons why we came here. Because if your energy is moody, you get up and you're moody at times, that means that you need to bring your moods into balance. And there are people that actually, hey, I didn't even know that this was going to go over like this, but there are actually people that need to master being moody. That means that you got to check into your emotions and find out why you're so emotional at certain times, which will register around the moon time. And again, our people are so socially programmed that they don't want to hear nothing about nothing that they don't know. How about learning something that you don't know? This is where you earn and things change in your life, such as if you're moody, who wants to be around you when you're moody? Because when you're moody, what's happening is that someone has got to dance to your tune, or they got to step on eggshells, or that kind of thing. And yeah, no one wants to be in that kind of energy, right? They don't. I mean, when you tell the truth, a lot of people will tolerate you when you're being moody, but people don't want to be in that kind of energy. So eventually, when the mood keeps coming up and you as the individual with the mood has not addressed it, you're going to lose. If you had something in your life that was valuable and you're moody, say like you're a Piscean energy, you're moody and you don't even know that you were born under that water energy that makes you, toss and turn. You even become like typhoons and tsunamis in your moods. Then what happens is that you're going to lose valuable people in your life because you are the one that needs to learn to master your shift. So how does that go over into relationships? I remind you again, for the children. That's what my life is based on. It's for the children. You learn how to do your shadow work, like these here young ladies that have tuned in. They learn the shadow aspect because they've worked with me. And I didn't even know when I had signed up for this here StreamYard that it would be so easy for y'all to come in like this. How about that? How y'all find me on here? Are you on YouTube or something? I know I sound crazy, but I gotta know. Ashley and Oni. Y'all have to type it in. So anyway, the moods. When you find or you become conscious enough to see that you have mood swings, don't expect people to just deal with that. Expect that your moods being nasty and standoffish, you don't want to be bothered with, is going to give the message that people have to leave your life. You want them to leave your life because you don't want to learn how to manage the moods. Okay, what else? Here in the astrology, I was just talking to Ashley too, and not I called you 2 days ago, and okay. Oh, look, I called you 2 days ago, night, and you ain't answered. So you have to call me back. Um, anyway, we're gonna be on here tomorrow talking about why men and women don't man up concerning taking care of their children. What is the controversy with women and men, especially of culture, taking care of their children? Let me just put that one on hold right now because I want to stay with the energy. I believe in teaching people about energy patterns. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the Bible told me so. And anybody out there that doesn't like what I'm saying, please just don't listen to my videos because I'm bringing the truth. The reason why we keep repeating patterns is because we don't go back in time and look at patterns. So if communication was an issue with you and you were born as a Gemini, you might go and see that Chiron, the wounded healer, is in a house with your Gemini aspect, or in a house like my granddaughter had. She has Chiron in the ninth house, which is the philosophical house, the ninth house of Jupiter. She was having struggles with talking, stuttering. And this year, yeah, she's not stuttering or having problems talking anymore. She started yelling her opinion out because in the ninth house, if anyone studies, you have philosophy. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? Because that's where Jupiter is, even though Jupiter as Zeus is a player. We'll talk about that at another time. But philosophy is all about our governments, how they're created, the contracts, what you believe, biblical, religion, your spiritual fortification, how you can take your religion to the next level of spirituality and not just be, sat at religion, which is what I learned from religion as a Baptist person. I went and I learned the apostolic way, learning but catching the spirit, the anointing. And from that, I still saw that there was a lack of liberty for us and the people. So what I did is went on into spirituality. Why? Because spirituality is where you get freedom. When you build your community of spiritual influence, what's happening is that you're teaching and your people become teachers, and they're able to become free. Free of what? Free of shame, free from prejudice, free from discrimination, free to be who you are, not in a way where it's hurting other people, but free in a way where you can express yourself in the aspect of Gemini. Because all Geminis are not, they don't come here where they can communicate properly. And that can be their area of need to um, overcome. Because see, when you talk about Bible, we're looking at the fact of the matter that there's something that we have to overcome. And Jesus said over in John, the 5th chapter, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. What is it that you need to become free from? So when you have mood swings, going back, you got mood swings and you have not mastered the mood. That means that the mood has mastered you, and the mood is what is propelling your life. That means that your mood can influence you so that you live an unhealthy life. I mean, think about it. So you want to master the mood. Now, what else could the mood do when we go back and we're at the beginning and we're talking about our children? Because that's me. You know, I'm here to be an advocate of a Malcolm X type of movement where families and communities of in poverty are healed, because it's possible. How do you heal them? You teach people ignorant of truth, facts of life, which is everything that I've given you. Why did they hide information from certain people? Because if you get certain information, you will be influenced to a place where you will rise above their idea of where you should be in life. Now, who who does this freedom lie on at this time of our lives? Salvation is what freedom is about, right? Just to give you some connections with the Bible or your religion. So if salvation is about freedom, and even the Buddha, you know, he found himself becoming free when he exiled away from his inheritance of a prince or a king, you know, where he was at. Most of them were living in very high status that are considered to be masters. And so what they did is took a step away from all of the pomp and circumstance, all of the living that they had concerning everything, and they stepped over into living nothingness, because nothingness is where you're able to create from. So when you take a child that has been separated from his mother or father, they have a separated family. We don't really have children that are in poverty. In poverty, the poverty is mental, because they grow up to believe that they're lacking something. You're not lacking anything but the thought of prosperity. Well, how could you be prosperous, Kim, and the father or the mother is not there? Well, you have to learn that that may have been your lot to take you into an influential life where you could teach others, or you could reach for the highest of highs. Because a child that is with his father, you know, I'm looking out here at a tree, and he reaches for the apples on the tree. If his father lifts him up, he will see that he has support, right? There are a lot of others that are in that position, but a child that has to reach for himself will learn more. Now, I'm not saying that it should be this way, because I'm bringing the conversation tomorrow in regards to that, because I'm tired of our men. I heard a YouTube where the men were saying that the women, don't look at them and smile. Well, let me tell you why I don't smile at you. Because for centuries, you have been a part of making my life hard. my forefathers, and my the women, the generation cycle. Why should I have to look at you and smile when you won't even become accountable for what you had not done? Now, I will say that in the men context, because that's what my family has went through, and my son brought something very, very strong and positive. And he was like, well, why am I interested in certain type of women when I have a mother that's like this? Meaning a brown skinned woman, brown skin, And so I thought it was so powerful what he said. And he said, I had to realize that just because, Mom, you had the same color skin as some of these other women that I had been with, did not mean that you did not know how to act or that you would act like them. Of course, you didn't act like them. He said, you raised me. I saw that. So, all Black women are not aggressive, they are not angry, and they're not about taking something from you. The ones that are angry, aggressive, and they want to take from the men are in their own personality. I can only speak for those and the ones that I've worked with to help to see that we come into a balance and we're able to be able to smile at our men. First, we got to heal. The next thing is if anybody's paying attention to the need for healing, right? Because even when I talked about astrology, no one is looking at the genetics and the biological makeup of a child in a mother's womb and the separation between them and the father, or her separating from the father, because this is a two-way street. Women are doing it as well. This is true. But I'm offended when I see, someone talk about or talk to a Black woman who can't even answer, why don't y'all smile at us? Give me something to smile for, dude. Now I'm smiling now because I got my freedom. But I told you how freedom comes. A lot of women and men don't understand that the world is not your freedom. The world is your prison. The world is the place where you're operating as a slave. I don't care what they said about Kanye West. The problem with Kanye is that he didn't bring the whole truth. Listen, this was a place of slavery to begin. This is a place, America is a corporation for you to work for others to become rich, not yourself. So when the people become wise enough to understand that, they'll also understand the wisdom that they need to bring and heal their own families. Because if you separate from your family and the woman or the man has to take care of them, that adds more to the weight on their shoulders, whichever one has the children. Because see, what happens is that you did not have to go to bed with these people unprotected having sex. This is accountability. When you become accountable, then the struggle is over because you accept your part of what wasn't right in the relationship, or and so does she or he, however it goes. And the child doesn't have to hear, well, we didn't get along. Well, shit, if you was going to bed together, you got along for 5 minutes or 3 minutes, Joe, then you should be able to get along for the rest of your life if you learn how to grow. So any man out there that feels like Black women are aggressive, there's a lot that we've had to endure that has went down in the genetics as well as the spiritual aspect of our lives. Really, own up and stop living like you're in a day-to-day. Listen, you can't overcome yesterday until you heal yesterday. So all of that baggage is lagging along with our culture, the men and the women. You can put on a dapper suit, but see, I can still see you non-secure, non-confident. You feel good because your exterior is dressed up. But you know what? We got people like me. I'm going to dress up and I'm going to be who I am. And I'm going to tell you like it is, because I've went to the core of my heart to find out who I am. Yeah, I was aggressive and angry. And now I'm getting aggressive and angry because I'm hearing black men talk about women and they ain't owning their stuff. Own up your stuff. Come to the table, and then when you own your stuff, then I can smile at you. You know, when I own my stuff and I say, listen, I lived a life of, I don't know, I don't even want to say that I was a player, but I was experiencing life out there. And I had boyfriends, before I got married or whatever. Um, Divorce, and then I had boyfriends again. Well, how did it work? It never worked out the way that I thought it would work out, simply because I wasn't conscious enough to appreciate the men. And some of the men, let me just tell you something, they did not appreciate themselves, so we were compatible because we didn't appreciate ourselves. And this is where you come to the place and your child says, why are you getting a divorce? Because we can't get along. And that's too funny to me at this time in my life, because we don't get along because you want to dominate and I'm not going to submit to your domination because you want to control. And why do people want to control? Because they're egotistical and they feel like without control, they can't handle things. They don't trust. Yeah. So tomorrow, it will be about 3:30 Eastern. I'm going to tell you some of the topics that we're going to discuss. And you know what? Since I've been on here, I might be live streaming so much, I might get tired of me. So um, I invited my brother to come on because he's hilarious. I hope he does, because he raised his children and he was a player. So he can have a versatile idea and look at this, and also, information to give us, because he's in that time where he's settling down now. What we going to talk about? um, Black families separated and the effects it has caused on our culture. Because, if we as Black men and women continue to fight each other and we don't find a happy median, then what happens is that our culture is split and our children are split, right? We got families that are living in poverty. And, I'm that statistic person because I work in behavior health. I was telling a young lady yesterday, split families cause economic issues, social issues, and biological issues, which causes unauthentic living. So what you have is children being born into situations that cause automatic mental issues, anxiety, depression. Why? Because I get an answer from my mother or father, I just don't get along with them. And boo baby, you better have her behind back here at this time. Why you ain't do her hair? And what's wrong? Your girlfriend better not touch her hair. All of that kind of foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And we got to grow up. And if it's anybody out there that don't like the antics, listen, this is what we get in our culture. Why? Why can't we grow up? Why aren't people going deep enough to look at the woundings that need to be healed? Here we go. So how do you feel raising children alone? It's burdensome. It's not that the children are burdensome, but why would I feel that I should raise a child alone when I conceived it with someone? This is backwards, okay? So I'm going to smile at you while I'm raising your child, and you not helping me, right? You may not be helping me on the levels financially, socially, mentally, emotionally. Pick which one applies. And this can be a woman or a man. But the thing is that the split is there because there's a conversation that needs to be had in that area. So many people are talking about politics. Really? What you talking about politics? What is that going to help when our families need education about themselves, to know that a child is born with social issues from the family paradigm, or economic or biological issues, is going to grow up and then they're going to graduate. If they don't graduate and get some help, they're going to grow up with that mental state, and all of that dysfunction is still going to play a part in their life, which is causing mental health to increase, not to mention the politicians that we talk about, right? So, do you think all men or women are sorry in the Black population due to their absence? Because I've heard that. Listen, I don't think anybody is sorry. I think that your actions display something. I want to call our Black men kings. In my position, I've always wanted to be with a Black man. Why? Because I'm a good looking Black woman, and on his arm, with his kingly facade and the way that he looks, we gonna reign together. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear nothing about politics with Black people. I want to hear Black people getting together, solving the social issues of separation concerning their families. If you don't have no children, cool. Maybe you can get the message over that way. But if you have children, it's time for you to stop thinking that it is okay for you to just say to your child, we didn't get along, and learn how to get along with yourself so that you can get along with the mother or the father of your child. That's total ignorance to me. I totally, yes, we all have to grow up. Hey, Sherry. Yeah, we all have to grow up and we have to awaken. That's the beautiful thing about Christ. The truth will make you free. So some of us sitting up in here free, and we've been listening to people talk about why don't the sisters smile at the men, and centuries. We can go back. This is not an isolated incident. Please, email this link over so other sisters can participate even tomorrow with what we're going to talk about. The absence of the mother or father in the Black family and what it's doing, because you cannot solve a problem for a Black person without their mother and father learning that you shouldn't have laid down and had sex, and if you hitting her, she need to hit you back. Now I give a disclaimer to anybody that's in abuse. You need to get some help, but if a man or a woman is hitting, listen, you need to get some help, but you produce the children with that abuser. You need to think about the fact that you're a stronger individual than to deserve to be hit or cussed out. All of this here is social issues. When a man or a woman makes a man or a woman in our culture feel less than, do you know that it is taking away from our culture? I mean, I'm proud of being Black. I don't have no problem. But in the face of it all, the irony is how we continue to tear each other down. I'll smile at anybody, honestly. It was just a statement that was made by someone that has a dating site. Why Black women don't smile? Think about all of the years and centuries again of the pain. Let's go back and heal it. And then let's come forward, because you cannot heal a wound of centuries today just by saying, well, that was them. No, they're connected to us. All of them that was back in the slave plantations, and our families was scattered. See, all of that's a part of this. And you know what? I know it's a lot of people that don't like to do history. But if you don't go and look at history, then you're going to always live his story instead of your story or her story or my story. There's no story that you can write. Jesus gives that to you, your ability to become free. Even in a salvation conversation, people get it twisted, because salvation is not religious. Salvation is about freedom. So everything, and even the passion, yeah, I'm passionate about it, because it's very simple to me that if I was able to tell my son or my daughter, whatever the case is, your mama just get on my nerves. You need to get a nerve check. Your father he ain't got no money, and I need a man with money. You knew he ain't had no money before you got with it. Please. Get another answer for your children. Change you and change your life. And so tomorrow we will be back on at 3:30 Eastern with some of those questions. And I'm hoping my brother will come on so he can make us laugh. I'm about to call him right now. Um, New Day Lawn Service in Detroit, Michigan. Yep, that's where I'm from. And I got Detroit on here. Sherry, she from Detroit. We got DC. Oni is on here. And I think, let's see, Ashley. Ashley from Maryland. See, all of this East Coast. That's where all of the women they were saying that the women from the East Coast was about drama. And I done had men say that I was drama. Sitting there not saying nothing. You just can't get no kind of you a good person or nothing. Jersey. I'm sorry. Ashley from Jersey. You can't get no goodness from them, especially when they hating on you. You just drama. Even when you overcome yourself and you stop giving drama, you still drama. Dang, I can't do nothing to be right. Well, at this point, I don't care what they say. I love life and I love people. And I'm just putting it out there that y'all better stop looking for politicians to make your life great, because the politicians ain't did it in centuries. Are they going to? Let's wake up. Now, whatever changes you need in your life or in your community, y'all gonna have to get out there and do it. That's how I've seen it. People homeless, they keep calculating more homelessness, but your politicians, what they doing for them? People constantly becoming or needing mental health checkups and drug opioid issues. Politicians, right? So over here, you can't tell me that I'm wrong. People looking at the wrong thing. The number one thing that you should be looking at is why I cannot sustain a relationship after I didn't have children. And it's okay that that man or that woman is 20 years down the road gone, but for the health and welfare of yourself and your children, because your children gonna duplicate what they see, to break the patterns. This is where your conversation has to be, and it has to be within your communities. You cannot rely on politicians to change the outcome of your home, because your home is in the position it is due to the social issues, the social economic issues of the collective consciousness, which has been brainwashed by the political system, the government. All right? Of course. You can email me at ifwbuilders@gmail.com, and you can tell me your thoughts. Your thoughts are admirable. I accept them. It's not my way conversation. I'm looking for people that want to come into the conversation and bridge the gap for our culture, because if we don't, our seeds will die off. See, I am invested in the seed of the Black woman and the Black man. Does that mean that I'm prejudiced? No, I'll teach everyone, because I think that ignorance is upon the land and we all need help. Why am I directly addressing our people? Because it's the people that I'm involved with, my color. And unfortunately, you can't get us to work together for nothing. And no one sees that the separation happened back in the plantations. Read the Declaration of Independence and read the history of it. And what Jefferson said about releasing the slaves together, read it. Because that idea that he had not to release the slaves together has not left us. They didn't want to release them together because they felt inferior to the people, the Black people. A lot of this here, the upheaval of history is happening through the energies, just like George Floyd, all of these people in our culture dying, being killed. You don't just go into talking about family. Well, mom, why are you divorcing dad, or why is dad? When you start talking about this, if you're someone that prays and God is with you, you're going to begin to see the whole paradigm, because Deuteronomy 6 said to sit at the table with your children and sup. What you going to sup with them about? You're going to talk to them about the issues that are going on in the world. Why? Because they need to be educated. Even from the 1700s, 1600s, you know, my sons call me because I have taught them on these things. Why? Because they need to know patterns. They need to know that the cycles of I'm a father, but I don't have to stay in the same house with the woman I had sex with and had that baby with. I don't have to stay with her, or her saying that he can go to hell. You know, he ain't no good because she didn't see in him what she should have. She didn't see in him something that she should have, because she was never brought up with a man to know what a man does. So how do you bridge the gap? Yeah, you bring conversations between your own people, because if your people and the core of our cultures is not healed, then that means that we lose. You see, I don't just lose. You don't just lose. All of the divorce courts and separation courts is mandated by a statistic number of 80% of Caucasians. That means that they're mandating, overseeing papers and documents such as is adding to their conversation about us. Become responsible with your life and your sexual organs. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. Because if you did not go to bed with that person, you ain't got no child there, I ain't talking to you. I'm talking about the issues of our children growing up without a whole family, because the mother or the father didn't have sense enough to know that sex is not love. All right, so I see y'all tomorrow at 3:30. Thank you for everyone that has come on and everyone that's listened. And that's me. You know, I get quiet and you may not hear from me at times because I'm thinking, but we have to come out of the box and we have to begin to speak to, you know, our families, to our neighbors. That's where it is, because no one is going to solve the problems for us but us. It's a time of community. So God bless y'all. And thank you for you guys that came on. Sherry, thank you for chiming in. I know you got something to say, honey. And for the sake of Christ, you know, the excellence of a woman has to be taught to the young women. So, you know, I say that to you, Sherry. The women have to be taught, because the elder women are not teaching anymore. That went away. And so we have to put this out here, you know. It's not just about men being absent. I mean, if a man is afraid to smile at a Black woman because she may be too aggressive, we need to think about it. The other, and it's turned around. Where do we find our peace? And I know my peace to be found in Christ. You know, that's why I have a daily devotion. I get up every morning and I go to bed with it every night. You know, my meditation, you know, my prayers. Why? Because I got to be who I am, and it's not who I was. You know, when I was out there fighting and brawling, or you know, like my mother, if she was on here, she'd be like, yeah, acting up like my mother, you know, that kind of thing, and cussing people out as I would in the past. No, you got to change. Why? Because it's not even attractive. It's not attractive. You also got to look at yourself and begin to say, who do I really think I am? Or am I a duplicate of my past or my forefathers who I don't want to be? Change you. That's transformation. How do you change you? God got you. Christ got you. Because the truth is accepting that you don't feel good about yourself. You're not confident, but you got to be truthful about that. And that's for men and women. The reason why we fall short is because we don't even know that we're living an unauthentic life. We're not truthful with ourselves about confidence issues. You know, Whatever you feel like you're lacking confidence in, you got to come forward and begin to work with it in whatever paradigm it is in. Because as I said, see, my granddaughter having that energy of Chiron in the seventh house, she broke through that this year. She is not in a speech impediment anymore. She is yelling and screaming her opinion. And even though she was yelling and screaming, I told my son she'll calm down. Let her feel herself and her voice. How many women out there, by the way, and men that have been quiet are feeling themselves? Like Beyonce, you feeling yourself because you feel some kind of urge or a spark of something coming up and saying live. And how do you live? You become honest with how you felt about things that you experienced in life. You also become honest and you let people know that done you wrong. You ain't that same person anymore, and these young ladies know. Listen, we could play New Edition, and that dude is talking about, I'm sorry you're not my kind of girl. I know you're attracted to me, and I should feel the same about you. You know why he wasn't attracted to her? Because she was a woman of integrity and she had knowledge. Listen to the song. Y'all go back and listen, because you will get an understanding that men sometimes and women are not confident enough to stay in a relationship with a woman or a man that is confident and is intelligent. They become intimidated. So I have to stop talking now because I have to get off. I've been on here long enough. And so you guys, thanks for coming on, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.